how to never separate yourself from yourself. To never separate oneself from oneself is the way Perciality created this Belizean network and platform, namely Reality with Perciality, which is the first of its kind. To never separate yourself from yourself, you need to do inner engineering so as to reconcile who you are at the core together with that which lies outside of you. Speaking for myself as a spiritual scientist, when it comes to physicality and spirituality, as a human being, you are both. And as such, you need to reconcile the two. Who you are at the core together with that which lies outside of you. Everything outside of your spirit being lies outside of you. Your spirit being is who you are at the core. So including your body and mind lie outside of you. Your five common senses lie outside of you. Speaking for myself, as I said, when I already said that. So because the the physical and spiritual are two different realms, in order for you as a human being who comprises both to live a full-fledged life, you can't see your physical and spiritual beings as opposed to each other. You need to see them as two different operating systems combined into one, giving you the choice, inner engineering, giving you the choice to either live through your body and mind or to become governed through your spirit. Not God's spirit. God can't live inside of you. Only you can live inside of you. You are an individual and as such indivisible. If you come with that hogwash, then you are either schizophrenic or demon possessed. That saying more than one people are living inside of you. Who you are at the core, a spirit being. Note that people are born spiritual, however, drift further and further away from their core spirit being or nature, the more they form identifications for to every time you say, for example, these are my people. You are identifying with just that small group of people. You are thereby saying that the other people in the world are not your people, which is discriminatory, given God is one who is impartial, and the universe is one energy. You don't come with a switch, to change from being physical to becoming spiritual. And becoming spiritual is not a drip process. It's not a growth process. Becoming spiritual instead of physical. No. To go from the physical to the spirit realm, you have to go through an explosion. There are two different distinct realms. And that's why to become spiritual, you can't do it through logic. You can only surrender to such a process. So surrender is not a weak term in spirituality. So during the process, you are becoming transformed through, going from your rigid, I was born this way state, right, physical state, to liquid flexible, whereby you are no longer picky and choosy, uttering things like, I like this, but I don't like that. You become flexible. And from that state, you go to vapor. And, vapor. Let me break that down. When you are blowing bubbles, you can say, okay, this is my bubble, and that's your bubble. However, once the bubble bursts, you realize that you and everyone else are breathing the same air. So you can't distinguish the bubbles any longer. Yeah? So individuals can only claim to have their own body and mind. However, none can say, I have my own life. For life is a shared commodity, shared with all other living creatures and things. Likewise, consciousness too is a shared commodity. Everybody is conscious. Every living creature is conscious. However, to varying degrees. From vapor, like I said, you then go to the state of nothingness, okay? Which Nothingness is the realm of the spirit. God is a spirit. So nothingness refers to God. The terms that refer to God um, are darkness also. God is darkness. The world began from nothingness. The world began from darkness. So creation became so God is the creator. Nothingness is the creator. Darkness is the creator. So you don't have to be afraid of the darkness, for God is darkness. The whole world is darkness. Look, only light was created. So you don't have to be afraid of the darkness, for God is darkness. God is both light and darkness. Anyway, so that's a distinction. Everything in the physical realm comes with boundaries, the boundaries of space and time, and one cannot grow beyond boundaries. So that's the limitation of physicality. However, on the other hand, in the spirit realm, there are no boundaries at all. At all, at all, at all. One is free to roam. Only there you can grow and expand without limit. Terms like everywhere and nowhere are terms you only use for God because they have no coordinates. I'm reminded of the words of my colleague in partner on this platform, Dr. Yvonne McFadden, who said to me on air, Percy, I now understand, I do understand what you're saying, you're trying to do, but Percy, that stuff that you are conveying is heavy. Yes, Dr. McFadden and others, I agree, it is heavy. Hence the reason I take the time to break it down. So I will leave it there, right, for now, except to say that you cannot grow and expand in the physical realm because you will continually be impeded by boundaries. For everything in the physical realm comes with boundaries. Comes with limitations. Therefore, to grow and expand without limitations, you have to go through a transformation process, wherein you go through the process I earlier outlined, taking you from your rigid state to the spirit realm, this realm of nothingness. The spirit realm is boundless. It is only there you will be able to grow and expand without limit by being governed by your spirit. Imagine yourself like a vehicle on four wheels. Yourself steering. You're steering by with your spirit. Your body and mind as your two back wheels, and your body, and energy system as your two back wheels. They, body and energy system, are already going in life's direction. They are stable. They don't need alignment like the front wheels I'm going to mention in a minute. They want to live. So your two front wheels constantly need alignment. Your two front wheels are your thought and emotion. Some refer to them as the head versus the heart. But look, your head, your thought and emotions are one and the same, okay? Except that your thoughts are come like rapid fire. You know, I don't, yeah, like I said, your thoughts, you can't think negative thoughts about a person for an extended period of time without having your emotions following the same direction. Your thoughts come in rapid fire. Your emotions take their time to marinate. Your thoughts are dry. Your emotions are the juicy portions of the same thought. In order to reach your destination, therefore, you have to be centered. You have to be stable. You can't be driving as a vehicle all over the road. And you know, everything in the physical created universe goes in cycle. You can't go in cycle and expect to reach your destination. No, you have to go more or less in a straight line. So, yeah, everything in the physical created universe goes in a cycle. Look, the Earth is going around the sun. Yeah, the moon is going around the Earth. Yeah, and it's only because your mother's system is in sync with the system of the moon. Yeah, the 29 and a half day her periodic cycle is in sync with the 29 and a half day cycle of the moon, that you were able to be born. Everything in the physical created universe comes in with cycles. So you can't reach your destination going around and around. Cycles are only good for fishing, farming, and calendar making. But to reach your destination in your career or with your ambition, with your vision, you have to go in a straight line. You have to be steady. You know something about that? You must be conscious and aware at all times. Awareness is a spiritual concept, different from alertness. You must be alert, i.e., when you are driving. So you must continually bring your thought and emotion into alignment through inner engineering. You are a chemical factory. All thoughts and emotions and experiences are generated from within yourself. You generate those from within yourself. So you have the choice whether to make other emotions sweet, i.e., to become overwhelmed with emotions such as anger, envy, bitterness, and the like. Huh? That's a choice that you're making, and you can only make choices consciously. Otherwise, you're not using your freedom. You're not consciously using your freedom. What you are being is compulsive in thought and behavior. If you say, I do as I please, no, I am free to do as I please. No, that's not freedom. That's compulsive behavior. Exercising freedom is a conscious thing that you do. You consciously decide, okay, look, I will do that which is best, not only for me, but for me and mine, and by extension the world. That's what a vision is. A vision is an expanded ambition, wanting for others the same thing you already want for yourself in your career ambition. Yeah. So when you unconsciously lose control of yourself, allowing your thought and emotion to tell you what to do, you're not in control. You're not in control. You're being compulsive. You are being compulsive in thought and behavior. You are being unstable. On one hand, you are telling your system you want to live with your two back wheels, namely your body and energy system. However, on the other hand, when with your thought and emotion, you're becoming bitter, angry, envious. You are telling your system you don't want to live. Whenever you say a man at you, for example, look, it's a thin line. You're a step away from the madhouse. For you are the one creating these poisons, perhaps, likely, intended for others, but you are the one drinking them yourself. How wise is that? Look, that is all the time we have. That is all we have, Dr. McFadden, because, like you said, it's heavy stuff. So that will be all for now. Let it be so. Iterala. Kaya, say, yeah. Ayo.